Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another weight loss discussion. Today we'll be reading How do we stop the rising obesity rate, with half the US population projected to be obese by 2030? I just read that a proposed FDA regulation to lower added sugars in processed foods would save millions of lives to reduce disease and lower obesity rates. Eliminate the excessive addition of high fructose corn syrup to nearly every product sold here. Education about dietary needs, planning meals, and eating healthy on a budget in public schools. And make gym class less humiliating and more fun. Embarrassment is often the highlight of gym class for fat kids, and it discourages them from getting the exercise that would help them the most. Stop overprocessing food. Sell, buy, and eat smaller quantities of higher quality food, and teach cooking in school. Let me start by saying I don't think this is the main issue, but I do think it is part of it. People work from 8 to 9 to 4 to 5, maybe later, then add on an hour for their commute, and people only have 4 or 5 hours for themselves. That's if they don't have kids or another job. Exercise and cooking healthy meals take time. Some people may not prioritize them or may not have enough energy to do it at the end of the day. So, in my opinion, part of the solution would be to give people more time, aka a shorter work day or a shorter work week. There are probably at least a dozen things that would help. One that comes to mind is investing more substantially in public infrastructure towards the objective of making more places walkable. That would be a big step in the right direction. Better public transport, more parks and open spaces, better bike paths, better walking paths, including more trees planted for shade, and just city beautification in general that encourages people to want to get out and move around more. The more walkable cities in the world tend to also have lower levels of obesity. And again, there are a lot of factors here. This is just one thing, but it's still a thing. And the thing about it is that it's so lateral to the problem that people will get more encouraged to do it and be more active, basically without even realizing it. It becomes a consequence of enjoying their area more. As a fat non-American, there's only one way to stop it. Make healthy food cheap and easily accessible, and unhealthy food expensive and not easily accessible. Also, all schools should offer healthy lunches. Honestly, the rest is BS, because if you're overworked, underpaid, depressed, and tired, you are going to opt for that $1 burger instead of spending time, money, and energy on a balanced meal. Change the culture of food. Every time I come back to America, it takes like a month to get used to the portion sizes again. It's like 3 meals in one. Walk places more often too. A 40-minute walk twice a day never hurt anyone. You don't need your car to go to the next street over. Eat fruit instead of sweets. Way better. In my country, Sweden, we have the same work hours as America, and we still don't have that level of obesity problem. I think it's far more complex than people just being too tired to exercise after work. I personally think that the problem lies in culture and education. In America, you get chicken nuggets, burgers, and fries as school food. In Sweden, we almost never get those foods because they're unhealthy. It already starts with the kids. In Sweden, it's part of the education to learn how to cook food and what foods are unhealthy. Also in Sweden, walking to places if it's 1 to 3 kilometers, aka 1 to 2 miles, is the norm, while the Americans I know would take the car. Americans are a food-loving people, for better and for worse, but I feel like the popular dishes are unhealthy food. For example, this state is known for its pizza, or this state is known for its barbecue, and the most popular breakfast cereals are the ones with tons of sugar. I think that sugar and fatty food is part of the American culture by now. I love fatty foods and burgers, by the way. Eating fast food once a week is often in Sweden. Heads up, this is a long answer. Only half? Wow, I thought we were already to that point. As an American, I can't exactly tell you how to stop the rising obesity rate. I can only tell you that many of my family members, brothers, parents, uncles, and cousins are obese. And I can tell you how it got that way. Cheap and easy, unhealthy food that requires minimal energy to prepare. Depression, due to overwork and underpay that leads them to eat more because it temporarily relieves the pain. Low energy levels due to various health issues that stem from obesity, low self-esteem that stems from obesity, and a lifetime of treating every emotion as hunger. Sad, eat. Angry, eat. Excited, anxious, confused, frigate, eat. The workforce and work situation in this country has failed its citizens, forcing them to be overworked and still not be able to afford healthcare, mortgage and rent, healthier food choices, or time for themselves and their families, and many other rights, making them feel like failures in every aspect of life. All of this feeling of failure is leading to mental health conditions, which ultimately lead to eating conditions and health problems. The mental health systems in this country have failed its citizens, leading them to take matters into their own hands and self-medicating with anything they can get their hands on, be it drugs, alcohol, food, or anything else that can temporarily numb the pain of the fact that no matter how hard they work, they will never have enough money to pay for a healthier lifestyle. And if they somehow work themselves to death and can finally afford a healthier lifestyle monetarily, they likely won't be able to afford the time. Affordable food. Yet another subject the US has failed its citizens in. Healthier food is outright expensive. Often, monetarily, it's not even an option for people here. Farmers markets used to be a place where less fortunate people could go and purchase healthier foods for more affordable prices. And now, it's a place where wealthy people go to buy their fancy $25 jar of homemade organic honey and $3 plums. You used to be able to go to those with $10 and leave with a decent amount of fruit and vegetables. Now, you're lucky to get 3 apples and 1 ear of corn for that same price. And grocery stores are even worse. I live in a state that grows cherries and apples less than 200 miles away from me, but for some reason, when I walk to the grocery store, they charge $7.99 per pound of cherries and $2.99 per pound of apples. This is fruit that is grown in my own home state. Berries are typically $6.99 per pack unless they're on sale. Asparagus is also $6.99 per pound. I could go on all day about this. Now, I understand crap costs money and hard work goes into all the food that we eat, but who can afford to spend $3 for 1 apple, for 1 breakfast, when they can spend the same amount on a box of sugar cereal and have breakfast and dinner for 2 to 3 days? They need to make healthier food options more affordable. So, there is no simple solution to fixing obesity. It's a complex issue with a very complex solution that entails a massive overhaul of all the systems this country runs on. Before we can fix obesity, we have to fix the things that often are the cause of it. We need to help our citizens in ways that have very little to do with food, because food is not the main driving factor here at play. Sure, food causes obesity, but usually only if you overeat unhealthy crap on a regular basis. We need to fix all the problems around. If we did that, it's probably safe to assume that the obesity rate would slowly drop. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day. Face gains. I'm only 13 pounds away from losing 100 pounds. Need to stay motivated.